These are the accomplishments for the month of April of DepEd City of San Jose del Monte. On curriculum implementation and learning delivery, public schools continued the conduct of early registration, which ended on April 30. A total of 10,173 learners, or 21.54% of the expected registrants, has been recorded in the information system for the incoming kindergarten grades 1, 7, and 11. A total of 47,235 learners are expected to register for school year 2022-2023. Pursuant to TF-ERID Kapasihan dated April 5, 2022, only vaccinated learners of secondary schools are given permission to participate in the limited face-to-face classes due to the wavering number of active COVID cases in the city. Nonetheless, all public schools were awarded as School Safety Assessment Tool compliant by DepEd Region 3. This means that all public schools are ready for the implementation of limited face-to-face classes. 7 private schools were also given SSAT compliance certificates. Schools gradually opening for limited face-to-face classes are closely monitored by the SDO. As of April 30, 16 secondary schools are already offering limited face-to-face classes. Learners underwent summative assessment and teachers also administered the PhilErie to gauge their reading levels. Regardless of learning modality, teachers are continuously capacitated in responding to an inclusive environment for all learners. Schools regularly conduct learning action cells to address the immediate needs of teachers, particularly on curriculum instruction, assessment of learning outcomes, and professional development. As part of inclusive education, activities for the alternative learning system are continuously implemented, monitored, and evaluated. The implementation of the Indigenous Peoples Education, or IPED, in the city also upholds the mandate of inclusive education. Recognizing the exceptional skills of San Joseño learners, the SDO proposed for the additional schools that will implement special programs in foreign language and journalism. The proposed school implementers were validated by the regional supervisors. Likewise, San Jose del Monte National Trade School and Marangal National High School were also given technical assistance by the regional office in preparation for the test accreditation as assessment centers. In the implementation of Project Tablet, to respond to the urgent needs of the schools and learners, additional tablets were given. The 2 satellite receivers were also given to Rica Fort and San Isidro Elementary Schools to amplify their internet connectivity. The connectivity and provision of gadgets are part of the learning recovery of the schools division. To fine-tune the Learning Recovery Plan, or LRP, DepEd CSJDM officials participated in the regional meeting on crafting the LRP. The SDO LRP team discussed the plans to maximize the time and resources in finalizing the LRP of the SDO and schools. The SDO conducted schools division workshop involving all school heads and key teachers to guide them in crafting the LRP of their schools. On health and wellness of teachers, staff, and learners. The School Health and Nutrition section, led by Dr. Mary Ann Soriano, conducted an orientation with the Dumagets as part of the intensification of the vaccination campaign of the SDO. For teachers, non-teaching personnel, and learners, the vaccination status is not yet 100%. There are 4,562 5 to 11 years old learners, while 34,623 12 to 17 years old learners who have been vaccinated. 99.10% of public school teachers have been inoculated. 33.32% of them have received booster shot. 100% of the non-teaching personnel in public schools are already fully vaccinated. Meanwhile, 97.91% of private school teaching and non-teaching personnel were already vaccinated. On human resource management, Regular coordination meetings with the school heads and teachers are conducted on continuous improvement. The first batch of teacher applicants underwent the computer-based English proficiency test. All teacher applicants were also required to attend the ranking conference so that concerns on the processes on application, screening, until deployment are clarified. On performance management and recognition, recognizing the learner performers of the SDO, learners participated in the 3rd National Art Contest as well as the 2022 Mathematics Olympiad. The SDO validation team provided assistance to 19 schools in improving their SBM level of practices, as well as to the other schools to sustain Level 3 or advance from Level 2 to Level 3 SBM level. All SDO personnel participated in the spiritual strengthening as part of the Lenten celebration. On partnership and linkages, DepEd CSJDM inked partnership with PSA Bulacan for the national ID registration of all learners. Public schools prepared for the activity in compliance with the IATF guidelines, health protocols, and city government policies. Pag-ibig services were also made more accessible to DepEd CSJDM employees by conducting the loyalty card registration at the SDO and public schools. DepEd CSJDM was a part of the validation process for the seal of good local governance of the city under the area Sustainable Education. DepEd CSJDM proposed for the expansion of limited face-to-face classes to elementary schools during the TF-ERID meeting. The LGU concurrence to implement limited face-to-face end-of-school year rights was also sought, particularly for private schools which started school year earlier than the public schools. The newly elected officers of San Prisa laid their plans before the SDS and discussed ways forward for the private schools, including their learning recovery plans. About 124 DRRM, health and clinic focal persons and coordinators participated in the capacity building for DRRM emergency responders in coordination with the CDRRMO during the rollout of the First Aid and Basic Life Support training. The SDS also attended the regular monthly department heads meeting to report the accomplishments of DepEd CSJDM and to inform the city government of its plans for the succeeding month. The regular conduct of the management committee meeting with all supervisors and school heads contribute to a more efficient governance and operations of all public schools, in coordination with the city government led by the City Mayor, Honorable Arturo B. Robes, who provided inspiration and direction to all MANCOM participants. DepEd City of San Jose del Monte shall continue its mission of delivering quality basic education through sulong edukalidad efforts and interventions, with the strong 57 public schools, 37 community learning centers, and 107 private schools.